Shout out to all the moms going out there to visit, or even if you're not visiting, just shout out for supporting your children, being that mom, like Michael's mom was, like being there through it all and being there by his side. Even if your child did the most horrific thing, it's still your child at the end of the day. You are found factually innocent and you are convicted of a crime, this bill would not allow you to sue the state for wrongdoing. And if you think about Louisiana, we have a 60 to 80% overturn of conviction rate.
Trump said this week he wants the government to reopen and expand the island. In the country's most ruthless and violent offenders, he wants sent to this prison. He says Alcatraz represents something very strong and very powerful. Direct quote from our president.
I'd love to motivate him. At the end of the day, he's in a situation that he got himself in, so he's the one that has to get himself out of it.
This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold.
Well, how was your Mother's Day, Paige? Did you have a relaxing day at least?
Well, I will. We're filming this in the morning.
Okay. I'm trying to pretend like it's Wednesday, but it's not.
My plan is to just hang out with Brody and my mom. We're just gonna have a little dinner at my house tonight. So that's
That'd be
my
nice.
ideal Mother's Day. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do things and travel. Like, this is my ideal Mother's Day, is being indoors with my people.
Yeah, just relaxing, just chilling out. Yeah, we're doing the same thing. Ours is very low key. My grandmother's not feeling well, so we're not going to go over there. We were going to go over there, but I'm just going to go have lunch with my dad and my mom. So kind of just low key day, I think, and I think sometimes that's good, like it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing.
No.
So I will say that what broke my heart this morning, talking to Michael, he wished me happy Mother's Day, obviously, because I have a child. I'm going to get him in a second. But he told me today, and I don't know if anybody else out there has a loved one whose mother has passed. Unfortunately, Michael's mom passed in 2021. And he said, he just said to me, I wish I could call my mom today, and I can't. So I felt so bad, for him, because he doesn't have that anymore. That's something that he always used to do, and he doesn't have that. So
It's sad. Any
it's kind of
holiday
hard,
like this, like, you know what I mean? As someone who doesn't have a father, that's how I feel on Father's Day. So I feel so bad for the people on Mother's Day, especially like Mother's Day, because it's like that's like, not to make light of losing your father, because they're both the situations are terrible.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah.
like, your mom is like your mom. So like I can't imagine.
Yeah, and Michael never knew his dad, so his mom was his mom, and his dad, like, she was his rock, and his biggest fan. So yeah, it is hard. It's hard when you lose that parental figure that has been there, for you through good times and bad times, and stayed with you even when you didn't make the best choices and things like that. So
It's like real unbreakable love. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, as a mother, I say it all the time. I'm like, I love Joseph with everything in me, but like the love and feelings I have for Brody are like indescribable and unable to be like matched by anything,
yeah, it's just a totally different feeling. And I saw something, speaking of Mother's Day, I saw something on, I don't know if it was CNN or Newsweek or something. It was a major tabloid, and it said something about how studies show that motherly intuition is like actually something like hardwired, and it shows that mothers have like this psychic ability when it comes to their children because of that bond, because of that, So it's like it's actually starting to be proven that mothers have this psychic ability when it comes to their children.
I fully believe that. There's been so many situations where, like, I literally remember this one time when Brody was like 2 in the bathtub, and I was like with my mom and we were giving him a bath. And for some reason, he stood up in the bath and was being crazy. And I think he was trying to dance or something, and he slipped. And I don't know how fast, like, I just knew he was like, I like took my hand and like put it on the other side of the tub where I thought his head would land because he slipped and fell and his head was going to hit the side of like the bath like really hard. And he hit my
Uh-huh.
hand and it was like not this big thing. And my mom was like, "How did you do that?" And I was like, "I don't know." Because it just happened in like 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Like you knew before it even
literally,
happened. That's
it's
crazy.
like
That's
it's
so
such a
true.
weird like a mom vibe thing, and that also makes me I feel so bad for especially everyone listening who has is a mom that has their baby incarcerated. I know we have a lot of people like that listening, and I'm sure
Hmm.
days like today are terrible. Or I mean, how do your baby's in there?
Yeah. I do know a lot of moms going today to visit their
Yeah,
children. And I know, like for at Angola, they feed the moms for free.
that's
Like they give
awesome.
them a free hot plate. Because I think they understand how hard that is to on Mother's Day to have to go to a penitentiary or a prison to go visit your child.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the moms going out there to visit, or even if you're not visiting, just shout out for supporting your children. Being that mom, like Michael's mom was, like being there through it all and being there by his side. And, my dad made a great point. Like, even if your child did the most horrific thing, it's still your child at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. And, you can't, some children make bad decisions and some adults make bad decisions, but at the end of the day, they're still your child. And the fact that you are sitting here loving and supporting them despite all that shows the unconditional love that you do have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such an important thing about being a mother. I'm not a mother to a human child. I'm going to get Gustavo in a second to show my little fur baby, but I've helped take care of my nieces. So I became an aunt at the age of 9. So I learned kind of early on about taking care of children, and I give kudos, like I always say, I give kudos to moms out there who are doing it every day by themselves, with help, without help, even more without help, because that's you're wearing two parental roles. But that unconditional love is something that is unshakable. I feel it as a daughter of my mother. My mom and I are best friends, and I just feel that no matter what I've done in my life, even if she doesn't agree with all the decisions in my life, she still loves me and supports me. And that is that unshakable, unconditional love that can never be duplicated between a mother and a child. So, speaking of, come here, Gustavo. Oh, he's like, fuck you, bitch. I am sleeping. I'll post some pictures. He does not want to get up. Him and I took some
He's
pictures this
me.
morning.
I
So,
don't want to get up
yeah.
either, buddy.
He's like, I'm not getting on your podcast to show everybody you're a mom.
He's like, I'm tired. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Now, this is the time I nap because this is the time you typically are at work. So this is the time I sleep. So, all right, Paige. Well, are we ready to get
I
started?
think so.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to a Prison Wife podcast. It's your friendly host, Gigi here, and I'm here with the lovely and beautiful Mama.
Oh, your friendly host Paige here. Hi, friends.
Hey, guys. And before we start our episode, we've got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Beyond Bars Imaging. Hit up Paige. I know she was getting on the request line there, and getting back into doing her pictures and catching up.
A little
Hopefully,
delayed.
a little delayed. Okay, well that's okay.
It's honestly,
Life happens.
I don't love it because I used to be like so on top of it, but I'm giving
Mhm.
myself grace with it because I know that there's a lot of other people that edit photos that have like genuine like 2 week waiting periods and like normally. So I'm like, I just need to stop and like set that expectation maybe and like,
Yeah,
because I'm just doing too much.
yeah. Yeah, it can't be a 24-hour
Mhm.
thing. It's too much. But if you would like a beautiful picture, spring, summer, um, going to the beach or whatever, hit up Paige. She can make pictures look so not prison-y at all. Take off those horrible prison garbs that they make our loved ones wear and change backgrounds. Even if you can't take pictures and you have two separate pictures of you and your loved one, she can merge them, add family members. I saw you do a beautiful thing where I think it was, you said it was like a funeral or whatever, and the person wanted the relative that had passed away. Maybe it wasn't a funeral. Maybe it was like a celebration, and they wanted a family member who had passed away put into and merged into a picture, and you were able to make that
I've done
happen.
that
And it
a
was
few
very,
times. Yeah.
it, yeah, it's really beautiful. So even if you have someone that's not in a picture and you would like them to be in a picture, please, please, please slide on in to Paige's DMs at Beyond Bars Imaging. You can contact her on the Instas, on the Facebooks, and on the Tiki
Well, don't contact me on TikTok. Let's keep it to
No?
Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, Instagram and Facebook. Okay. All right. Well, are we ready to get started?
Yes.
About that time. All right, Paige, it is what up with that legislation? Do you have anything?
Okay, my first piece of what up with that is actually good, and then I'll follow the second piece with bad news, because I mean that's all that we really have at this point. In a shocking turn of events, the Tennessee governor Bill Lee issued a first veto in his 6+ years as governor on Monday on a measure that would have expanded authority to the state probation and parole board. They quietly passed a bill the past week in Tennessee, SB 455, HB 527, that would have been a step backwards from the advances of the Reentry Success Act that Tennessee rolled out in 2021.
Okay.
The measure passed overwhelmingly with a single no vote because, quote unquote, we all know that we cannot tackle crime without tackling recidivism. Together, we recognize that the vast majority of offenders will return to our communities, and their successful reentry impacts the safety of our neighborhoods for the better. Direct quote from the governor when this bill passed in 2021. He said 2 years after the Reentry Success Act passed, the state recorded its lowest recidivism rate in history. The rate for which convicts return to prison, meaning fewer crimes and fewer victims, Lee added. He is confident that the board and other safeguards can make sure that parole is awarded appropriately. So, over the past week, Republican Rep. Rick Scarbaugh of Oak Ridge and Republican Senator Paul Rose of Tennessee, they had a little debate amongst the parties, 75-16 in the House and 22-4 in the Senate. They wanted to pass, and they did pass, a bill that would give the parole board more power to deny parole to people when they're up. Their excuse was that this would protect prison guards and COs on the inside, because they decided because I guess they now think that also COs should get to have a say in that or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really get it. But in an awesome heroic act for Tennessee, he did veto it. He said, this is not right. He used his first veto to strike down the probation change, and he said that any kind of bill that would pass that would give them more power than what they already have is a step backwards and is not going to help their issue. They already made changes. He's saying we have data and facts to support these changes that we made. There's no reason to rewind. And that's literally happening in a state that is fairly conservative.
Yes, fairly. I'm saying that's awesome that he's stepping in saying you don't need more power to dismiss people and not give them parole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need that capability.
And when I first came across this article, like, I literally thought that it was the opposite. I thought that it was the opposite.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
would
why
think coming out of Tennessee.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Oh, what the... Like, okay, I mean, hey, we'll take what we can get right now, and something even like this in today's climate is awesome.
Yes, amen.
So we love positive news.
All right, can I also ride the positive train?
Yes.
I got a couple positives. First thing, I'm going to start with North Carolina. Their House Bill 270, the death penalty expansion bill, has been defeated. Hundreds of people sent letters to legislators. And I'm going to give a shout out to the North Carolina Coalition for Alternatives to the Death Penalty. Also pushed this for people to write to their representatives to, not support this bill. It says their partners offered strategic and communication support through the last 2 weeks. So obviously the lawmakers listened to North Carolinians, and House Bill 270 will not advance. So that is good news out of North Carolina.
Love that.
Do you have any other good news on legislation? Because I got one more.
No, I have one other thing that's not good.
Okay. Well, this one is coming out of Louisiana. Louisiana put forth a bill by Representative Nicholas Muscarello, who is also on the satanic list. He made I will say though, he did make an admirable decision in not to advance HB 673, which would have repealed the wrongful conviction compensation statute. So basically, if you are found factually innocent and you are convicted of a crime, this bill would not allow you to sue the state for wrongdoing. So, and if you think about Louisiana, we have a 60 to 80% overturn of conviction rate. So this would have kept a lot of people from suing the state. And Representative Muscarello said, at the end of the day, I believe in fairness no matter the situation. It would actually hurt the rights of people wrongfully convicted. I didn't feel it was a solution to the problem, and that's why I chose to park it. Basically, why he chose to park it is because the public had a huge outcry of backlash. Basically, Louisianians said this is so wrong on so many levels, because can you imagine, because some of the stories they used to fight this bill were people that were incarcerated for 30, 40, 50 years that were wrongfully convicted. And so they were all the public. I'm so glad Louisianians are starting to actually read between the lines and see that some of these bills are meant more harm than good. And so they stood up and they wrote to Representative Muscarello and told him, get this shit off the table. This is so wrong on so many levels. So thank you, Louisiana, for writing to your representatives and telling them how horrible this bill really was. So that's my positive for Louisiana. I can't believe it. Anyway. All right, you're next.
In more news that we kind of predicted already, Trump really does want to reopen Alcatraz. I think that he truly saw that movie with what's his name, Clint Eastwood,
The Rock.
He literally saw that movie and he was like, I want to reopen Alcatraz now. I want to do that. I think he watched that and was like, I want to make that happen. Because
Cue Nicolas Cage. Where's Nicolas Cage? Paging Nicolas Cage.
I don't watch movies or know things to know who that. I know that dude's in that one movie. I don't know who that. National Treasure, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that who we need? Because I don't even know.
Yes.
I've never seen that movie.
Well, it's some type of I don't remember the plot of the story, but basically they go back to Alcatraz, aka The Rock, and they try to take down this militant group or something like that.
Oh, fuck. That hurt. All right. So, one of Alcatraz's last living incarcerated men has spoken out about Trump's plan to reopen the prison. When Charlie Hopkins thinks back to his 3 years that he spent in America's most famous prison, he remembers how deathly quiet it was. In 1955, this man was sent to Alcatraz for 3 years. He was sent there with other incarcerated men. He had to serve a 17-year sentence for kidnapping and robbery. Mm. He said falling asleep at night in his cell On the remote island, he said, the only sound was the whistle of ships passing. That's a lonely sound. It reminds you of Hank Williams singing that song, I'm so lonesome I could cry. This man is now 93. He's living in Florida. He said the San Francisco National Archives informed him that he is likely the last surviving former Alcatraz incarcerated person alive. Another former incarcerated man, William Baker, appeared to be alive as of last year, but no one has heard from him as of this year, I guess. An interview with BBC this week, Hopkins described life in Alcatraz, which formed the setting for the 1996 film The Rock, which we just talked about, where he made friends with gangsters and once helped plan an unsuccessful escape. Although it closed decades ago, U.S. President Donald Trump wants to open it back up, as we know. When Hopkins was transferred to the high security prison in 1955 from an Atlanta facility, he remembers it being clean but barren, and that there were few distractions. There were no radio at times, very few books. There was nothing to do. You could walk back and forth in your cell or do push-ups. The busy part of the time with his job cleaning at Alcatraz, he was sweeping the floors and buffing them until they shined. He was sent to prison in 1952 in Jacksonville, Florida, for his role in a series of robberies and kidnappings. He was part of a group that took hostages to get through roadblocks and steal cars. He had some infamous neighbors. As we know, the facility has housed many violent criminals that are very well known, like Al Capone, Robert Stroud, a murderer known as the Birdman of Alcatraz, and the crime boss James Whitley Bulger, making it the subject of a host of films and television shows. He said that even in the high security prison, he still managed to get into trouble. He spent some days in the facility's D block, which was solitary confinement, where they were sent if they misbehaved, and they were held and rarely let out of their cells, if ever. His longest stint there, 6 months, came after he tried to help several other prisoners, including the notorious bank robber Forrest Tucker, escape. He said that he helped steal hacksaw blades from the prison's electric shop and cut the prison bars in the basement kitchen.
Oh, wow.
The plan obviously didn't work. They didn't get out. A few days after, they locked them up, and they never got out. Obviously, that didn't stop people. People have famously tried to escape from Alcatraz many times, as that is what it is famous for. Many people escaping and not making it. It's been used and transformed now into a museum, and people laughed about the fact that it would ever be used again as an actual place to house incarcerated people. But, here we are in 2025, and this is the conversation. Trump said this week he wants the government to reopen and expand the island. In the country's most ruthless and violent offenders, he wants sent to this prison. He says Alcatraz represents something very strong and very powerful. Direct quote from our president. And of course, Hopkins has all these opinions of it. Imagine being this man, man who knows and lived through all this, and now he's seeing this happen. And you know what I mean? What this man said was, he said it would be so expensive. Back then, the sewage system went into the ocean. It went directly into the ocean, and that they'd have to come up with another way of handling that, because obviously you can't do that now.
And we're supposed to be saving money?
Mm-hmm.
Our tax dollars are going to we're going to get money back?
We're supposed to be taking care of our environment. We obviously aren't doing that in any sense of the way, but now we want to probably go back to dumping sewage into the ocean. So Hopkins left Alcatraz 5 years before it actually finally closed down for good. He had been transferred to a prison in Missouri, given a psychiatric medication that helped improve his behavior and helped him heal his psychological issues, because they developed there and they did not get help there, as we know. He does not say that he thinks it's a serious proposal. He says, I really don't think that place will get opened. He just hopes that Trump can, maybe step back and actually see what he is proposing and look at it. After several decades of reflecting on his crimes in Alcatraz, this man, Hopkins, he's wrote a 1,000-page memoir with nearly half of the book detailing his troubled behavior that was never addressed. Go figure. You wouldn't believe the trouble that I caused them when I was there, he said. I can see now, looking back, that I had problems.
Wow.
It's from a 93-year-old man.
And I've heard the tales of like it being haunted and, you know, just because it's been around for so long. So I can only imagine him hearing that this is open to now.
The trauma.
The triggers. Yeah. The triggers behind that,
Thank
you know?
Thank goodness he was finally released in 1963. He worked at a truck stop and then took other jobs, and he went back to his home state of Florida. Apparently, he has a daughter and he also has a grandson now. So, like, thank God he was able to build a family. But, like, you know, why is no one listening to this? This is a 93-year-old man. He lived an entire life, and he's telling you that he sees he had these problems and lived through this, and no one addressed them. But if they did, and he got help when he did, that how much good can come out of that?
Yes. But, you know, nobody wants to listen to experience and the people that have wisdom and information.
No, this man needs.
They just want to. Yeah.
This man needs a documentary. Like fuck
Correct.
all the movies and shit about breaking out of Alcatraz and shit. Like I want to hear a documentary about this man and the things he's been through. Like the stuff that matters.
Yeah, I agree. And what a powerful story that would be.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder if Mr. Bill can connect with him since he's in Florida.
Oh,
Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill, where are you?
That's it. I'm done now. I just had to go on my Alcatraz rant.
No,
and then
I think that's so important to talk about.
I can't. When I saw it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, his story needs to be heard for sure. That'd be cool if we can get him on the pod.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
I love old people.
Oh,
I really do.
Me too.
I love hanging out at my grandmother's assistant.
Take me to the bingo games. That's where I need to be.
I do crafts. We do games. We listen to we watch the little people that come sing music. And I just love walking down the hall and saying hi to everybody and talking to them. And Gustavo's like the emotional support dog. He loves old people too. So yeah, he loves it there. So I would love to have him on the pod. All right. I'm going to also, I know we're going to have a fun episode today. I promise, guys, but we do need to talk about this because this is pretty serious. Trump's propaganda minister, I call him Joseph Goebbels, said that they're looking into eliminating due process.
Yeah.
That is a very scary thing. And if you guys don't know what due process is, it's basically like the government or states have the right, have a certain thing. They must have enough of something to detain you, incarcerate you, or charge you. And if you get rid of that, then you can throw people in prisons without any type of court or any type of
reason,
litigation, or you don't have to have a reason to incarcerate somebody. So his propaganda minister said that we're looking into getting rid of due process because we're under attack by the immigrants.
Please.
We're under attack, guys. I just don't understand.
This was
like we're
plan.
not in a time of war.
This was their plan the whole time.
Meanwhile, Trump is offering only white people from South Africa to come here for asylum, where there's nothing wrong in their country. Yeah. He's privately, we're funding white Africans, like Afrikaans as they call them, from South Africa to be able to come here for asylum. Wait, only the white ones.
He said only the white ones?
Yes.
Wait, actually?
Yes. So while we're so hard on immigrants, no immigrants in the United States, we're going to make America great again.
We're all immigrants.
Oh, it makes me angry.
We're all immigrants.
If you're brown, if you're not white, fuck you, basically, is what it is. And you don't deserve due process. But meanwhile, we're going to ship or fly in on a private jet white South Africans for asylum. So let me just say this. Let me go back
Why
to
would
due
anyone
process.
come here right now? Like, y'all are crazy if anyone is getting
Yeah.
shipped in here, because
I would love to know what the South Africans think of this.
I would like to know,
And it's just South Africa. It's no other country but South
can the
Africa.
world save us? Like, is there anyone that can save us at this point?
So, guys, let me say this. If you eliminate due process,
We're fucked.
we're fucked.
Yeah.
We are fucked.
Yeah.
Your loved ones are fucked. They don't get the right to appeal anything. They don't get the right to, like, they are just going to sit there and rot in prison.
Our loved ones in prison are really fucked if this happens.
Correct.
Because guess what?
They don't have to have a reason to let them out.
No. Or put them in
So-
solitary or do anything, you know?
I said that the maggots, because I call them maggots, I'm sorry, I'm pissed. The fact that people voted for this and are supporting this is absolutely disgusting. As Americans, if you were all like, you need to follow the Constitution and all this stuff, well, this ain't following the Constitution.
That's why it's all a lie. All their everything that they've like propped up and stood on and screamed about is all a lie. Like,
And listen, if this was a Democratic president doing this, I would be saying the same
yeah,
thing.
I don't care. I don't worship leaders. I don't care.
I don't worship leaders at all. There were things wrong with the past administration. There are a lot of things wrong with this administration. I'm not saying that one is, like amazing and, whatever. But y'all, our freedoms are being stripped before our eyes. And the fact that things are moving so quickly, and the fact that there's no system of checks and balances is extremely scary. And the fact that people are supporting this, I feel like I'm living in 1930s Germany. I really do.
We are. I keep seeing all these quotes and stuff about people saying like quotes from Anne Frank's books where she was like saying how people just went on with their lives, and she would wonder how people were doing it, and it's like that's what's happening like right now, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like with everything in the world. I don't want to go too political, but like, Gaza and everything, like the world is at war right now.
Yeah, you got Pakistan and India.
Yes.
You've got Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
And then you got shit happening in the Gaza Strip with Gaza and Israel. I mean, y'all, we are on the brink. I mean, my mom and I were talking about this yesterday. We could possibly be on the brink of a World War
I
III.
know.
Because we have the weapons we have today could destroy the whole world.
God, I just am so angry because I'm just like, oh my God, I knew. Like, it's like we all just knew that this was like so coming.
Yep. And everybody wanted to shut us up.
Yep. We were gaslit, and it didn't work because we
We
were
were
all like,
gaslit.
no, what?
No, stop talking about it. It's not true. Oh, okay. Okay, bitch.
Fast forward. Too bad we couldn't fast forward then.
Yeah. I know, right? All right. Well, Paige, let's talk about some did you have anything else for What Up With
I
That?
did
Or
not.
is
That's it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I like to ask before we move. It's time for some mean and sweet tweets, y'all. All right. Well, I have to give a shout out to now my new favorite hater. Hopefully he's watching and trolling us. I love him to death. Him and I actually kind of started having a discourse on our YouTube. And we talked about him on our Patreon, so I have to give him a proper shout out on the OG pod. Mr. Hartley John 333. He loves to come in on Wednesdays and tell us about ourselves, which, it's actually a hater that I can actually smile about.
It's funny. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I like people like him. I kind of get joy off of it.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. And so this is he commented on our last pod 3 things. I'm assuming we talked about this on our recent Patreon, that he was commenting just short little comments, which is fine, but there was no timestamp. So I don't know if he was just talking about something we were talking about in the podcast and he just said it in that moment. So it looks like that because of the timestamps of when he commented. So the first thing he says is fake news. Okay. Then he says, deport them all. And my favorite, I love you, John, for this one. Reform is easy. Don't break the law.
He ate. He ate.
He ate with that one. John, Hartley John, you ate and left no crumbs with that. And then him and I started bantering back and forth. And I said, I ended up telling him, and I said this on the Patreon. I said, Hartley John, if you don't come in and troll us next week, I'm going to be sad,
you better.
like with a laughy face. We need your comments. They give us life. And basically he said, well, when do you guys go live? I said, well, we don't really, sometimes we go live, sometimes we don't, but most times we're just posting our pod at Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there, be square. So him and I kind of went back.
I love that. It's like me and that other guy who used to comment on our videos, but he disappeared.
Oh, the ugly Virginian guy.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe he'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, Hartley John, listen, I need you to control us, please, because we got to have some witty banner back and forth,
Anyway,
sir.
who else will we do for our hate tweet segment?
So shout out to Hartley John 333. And Hartley John, let me just say this, because your last comment was very ignorant. Reform, not everybody is perfect and has perfect lives. We live in a world where people are marginalized and oppressed. Maybe not you, because I'm assuming because of your huge tugboat that you are probably of the Caucasian persuasion. So just know that not everybody's had an easy ride with because you do have a massive boat, sir.
If it's his.
So I know you're probably living pretty well. Just know that people have trauma. People grow up in child and have really bad childhoods that can lead them to a life where they make bad decisions. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are bad people. They were just put in situations and made bad decisions. So I need you to maybe reflect on that a little bit, and think about the benefits of reform. It's easy to make a blanket statement, don't break the law. Well, Mr. John Hartley, if you are doing something wrong on your boat, you're breaking a boat law, okay? So don't sit here and pretend that you are this holier than thou, law-abiding citizen that never goes over the speed limit, that always wears your seatbelt, that never has a beer while you're driving your big duck boat. So let's just be real here. And I need you to think about that. And listen, I feel like you and I have a discourse to where we can talk about these things. And I hope one day that maybe listening to us and, contributing and learning things from us can help benefit you and show you a different side or perspective. That's all I'm asking, just to be open-minded a little bit. So thank you, John Hartley 333, or Hartley John. Sorry. All right. I have that mean tweet. I will say that we got a lot of sweet comments from our people on this past episode page. They loved your vulnerability in the beginning.
Yeah, I had a lot of people message me and say really sweet things, which was really nice, and it made me feel a lot, not that I felt weird, I just hate, like I said, I hate the fact that there's video of me crying on the internet now, but it's important that when we have this platform that we show you guys all parts of our lives, because if I hide that part, when you guys have those moments, you probably would feel like, okay, well, it's just me and I'm crazy then, because guess what? No, it's me too. And I have them all the time, and I'm crazy too, and I break down, and I have moments. I usually try to keep them away from filming time, but sometimes it happens during, and I'm glad that they were here.
I was going to say too that Sundays, because we film normally on Saturday or Sunday, but most time on Sundays. And I was going to say that, Sundays are a hard day. Mm-hmm. Sundays are really hard because it's like a family day. It's a day that you wake up and you want your person next to you and they're not next to you. That's a day that I feel the most. Mm-hmm. So I know having those feelings on a day, like on a weekend day, is probably, for a lot of people too, having those feelings, and then being at a weekend where you're by yourself and, you're thinking about all that, it just amplifies it. So, all right. Well, do you have new nails?
I have new ones, but they're the same. I just
Okay,
put
so Nudie
on,
2.0.
yeah, I just put on different ones. I changed
Okay.
them.
So you just changed them out. Okay. All right. Well, congrats to Nudie. Show off that bling bling real quick, please, because that's a
I'm
beautiful
so
ring.
obsessed with this.
It's gorgeous. I can't believe that's OG
This
because
is
it looks like resort to
it.
me.
Literally is sought after because like it's called the 2424 unicorn. I've never opened one, but the fact that I
So it's
opened
a
it,
unicorn?
it's not, but it's called the 2424 unicorn because everyone like wants her.
Okay.
But look at her,
The side. Show the side, that those links, that
literally.
band braiding. I don't know what they call it, the infinity. It's really pretty.
It's perfect. I love her.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we do have a couple of things coming up this month and moving into summer that I just kind of want to hit on. For our support group, Love Within Walls, we have Life or Wife Week coming up. That is a week dedicated to showcasing some of our long-term or lifer wives. That's coming up May 27th through May 31st. So it's right after Memorial Day. And then we also are going to be posting something coming up in our Love Within Walls support group called Gilo Day. Pelly Post is asked us to send out a link for you guys. They want to hear from you, from prison wives and prison girlfriends, about your global incarcerated loved one. And it's a day to showcase your love with, excuse me, your loved one. And they're looking for little 15 to 30-second video submissions of you telling your story. So we will be posting that shortly in our support group, Love Within Walls. And if you're not in Love Within Walls and you need support, please come on over. Just make sure you answer the questions. Check your message requests or your spam folder in Facebook, and we will get you in. All right. Are we ready for our main card? All right. So our main card today is a Would You Rather session, Prison Wife edition. So I'm very, very excited about that. So I'm going to pose some questions to Paige and myself, and we're going to have some different categories: relationship, romance, silly and fun, life and imagination, and deep and real. We'll go ahead and start with the silly and fun. Paige, are you ready to answer a would you rather question?
Born ready.
Okay. Silly and fun. Here we go. Would you rather have a visit where you both wear matching outfits or themed costumes?
Themed costumes. I don't need to match with this man. I'm good on that. Thank you.
Okay. And what costumes would you want? Like, what theme would you go for?
I'll go with what we were gonna do this year. I wanted, because I was like an alien and Brody was like an astronaut, and I told Joseph that he could also be like a NASA person, and I could be like the alien that they found.
Nice. Okay. I would also do themed costumes, and Mike's nickname is Tigger because he has ADHD and can't sit still. And I would want to be Piglet because I'm full of anxiety and I overthink everything. So we would walk in to visit as Tigger and Piglet.
I love that. Can I be Eeyore?
Yes.
I love Eeyore.
Oh
I love
gosh,
him
you
so
guys.
Literally.
Can I just say though that Eeyore, I love that crew, that whole crew loved and supported Eeyore, even though he was troubled and depressed. And they accepted him for who he was.
They did.
What a great crew. All right. Here we go. Would you rather get surprise drawings or surprise poems in the mail?
I like both. I'll say
Yeah, you have to pick one.
I'll say poems because poems is my words of affirmation.
Oh, okay. I like that. I would probably, to be honest, even though I love poetry, I'm the writer. Michael's not so much. So he's a good writer, don't get me wrong. But for poetry, I don't know. Not saying he can't do it, but obviously his talent is art. So surprise drawings and artwork are my favorite from him. So I'm going to go with the opposite. I'm going to go with drawings.
Cute.
So. All right. And I was going to say, guys, if you want to do these questions with your partner, please do.
Yeah,
Please
and let
take
us
them
know
and use them.
below if you're watching
Yeah.
on YouTube.
All right. This one's funny. I want to do this one. Here we go. Would you rather be famous together for your love story or for a viral dance you made after release?
Ugh. I'm like neither. I guess our love story. I don't want to dance
Okay.
ever.
I could just see Joe with his shades.
That's what he would do. He would dance like that. It wouldn't be a good viral dance. It would be like people would be like, "What the hell? What the hell?"
What the heliante?
Literally.
All right. Let's do relationship and
Wait, you
romance.
didn't
Okay.
answer. You
Huh?
didn't answer.
Oh, I didn't answer. I'm sorry. All right. I would definitely want to do a love story. Even though I love those viral dances, I can never do them. So,
thanks.
and if you've seen Mike on his videograms, you probably don't want him doing a dance either. So, and if you haven't seen his dance on the videograms, I will definitely post it on my personal page on Instagram of him dancing with his tier mates on a videogram. It did happen during COVID. All right. So relationship and romance. Would you rather have a 5-minute phone call every day or a 1-hour visit once a month?
Well, I mean, can I still have in-person visits? Because I'll take the 5-hour phone call every day. And then I'll also have my visits because there's no rule against that in this. What would you rather?
I'm assuming that you only get one or the other.
Well, I already don't see him that frequently.
I know.
So I'm
know.
like, I would probably do if I had. I would do. I guess the phone call. I don't. That's lame.
Yeah. It is a lame question, but I would definitely do the phone call every day because I feel like just not hearing from him for that long
Yeah.
is very hard.
It's like you build a relationship on connection, and then to take that away would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. All right. Would you rather get a sweet letter once a week or a long, deep letter once a month?
Give me a sweet letter once a week.
Okay. I would go for the long, deep letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like a good deep. I like getting deep.
I like both, but I also like to be like I feel like my life is so chaotic that like getting one like every week would be like the nice, like if I would like have going through it, I'd be like, oh, thank goodness, oh, this is nice, like, you know, pick me up,
Yeah.
like a recharge.
Yeah, I get that. All right. Our last one for relationship and romance. Would you rather go on a road trip together or have a cozy weekend at home when he's released?
Cozy weekend at home, but also I know he wants to road trip. I mean, we'll do both.
I gotta pick
But
one.
I'm okay. Well, I'll be at home for sure.
I agree. I mean, I know Mike has talked about going to see the country. He wants to see the United States, like see all the national parks and stuff, in like a little Sprinter van or whatever. But I know when when he's released, if that day ever happens,
Right.
praying, that it would be a lot for him, especially with the amount of time he's been in solitary confinement and then behind and being institutionalized. I don't even think like I said last week, I don't even think he wants his family there. He wants me to come get him and bring him home. And I think he wants to have some time, just the two of us alone first. So I'm going to also go with the cozy weekend at home. All right. Life and imagination. Would you rather have matching tattoos or create a secret code language only you two understand?
Um, I would want matching tattoos, probably.
Okay.
That's more
Can
me.
I ask, does Joe have any tattoos for you?
He does not, no.
Do you have any tattoos for
I
him?
do. I do.
Ooh, can you tell us what it is?
Yes, I have his initials kind of small down on like my thigh. And then
Okay.
I have his handwriting that says "Te amo mucho" on my side right
Aw,
here, and it's in his handwriting, so it's so cute.
I love
Yeah,
that.
he's a good boy. The reason he doesn't have he wants tattoos of me, and obviously he's gotten tattoos in prison. If you've seen this man, he is covered like his back, his arms. Um, he he is on like the good track. And I mean, anyone who knows anything about prison, you're not allowed to get tattoos. You're not supposed to. You can get in trouble. You can get written up.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not as heavily watched, but it is another thing you could get in trouble for, and it's not exactly something easy to hide. And he really is on the straight and narrow. This man, he does no wrong, and he doesn't want to do things to get in trouble. And I'm not going to push him right now to get a tattoo as much as I would love, my name or something on him. I'm okay with, you know, if it means that he's staying on the right path, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I I would also do the matching tattoos. I think a secret code language. While it sounds very
I'd forget
interesting,
it.
lame.
Yeah.
I would just be like, yeah, okay. It's like, what does that girl say on Love on the Spectrum? It's very interesting, but I'm not
I'm not
interested.
interested. Yeah.
So I would do the matching tattoos. And Mike and I have not. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, there are matching. We already have matching tattoos. So, but I would love to get another matching tattoo with him.
hmm
So
Do you want to say what
yeah,
it is or no?
I know I will. I actually have for Michael. I have one, two, three tattoos. But the one that we have that's matching is our quote that we used to say at the end of every letter or every email. The quote from Beethoven, Sex and the City fans, you know it already. It's ever thine, ever mine, ever ours. It was in a love letter that Beethoven wrote to his lover, and he ended it with that. And I just love that
Love
quote.
Mr.
So,
Big.
Mr. Big.
Love Mr. Big so
Love
much.
Mr. Big.
That's funny though, because that's why I got Ti amo mucho, because that's how we used to sign all of our letters. So that's cute that like you
Aw.
kind of did that.
And I got, I don't know if you guys can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
This is Michael's hearts. He calls it our hearts. It's both of our hearts. And this is actually I took this from an envelope that he wrote this in, and I gave it to the tattoo guy, and he traced it and basically
That's what that
scanned it and put it on me.
my
So
my words is literally I had him write it three different ways and I gave it to the tattoo guy. I was like, "Can you just combine the ones that look good?" And
I love that. And I know a lot of other wives have gotten like, I know my best friend Jess, she has her husband's like he says love you, yeah. And so she took one of his letters and she put it right here. So I love that. I
yeah.
love those like OG like signatures or written
That
things
like
that people
means
put
so
on them.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Our next life and imagination question is, let's do this one. Would you rather start a business together or travel the world for a year?
That's so hard because I want to travel the world with him and I know he wants to, but I also know that we could build a kick-ass business together. I For the sake of this man being in prison for the past few years, I would have to do the traveling. He
Yeah,
needs a
me
break.
too.
We need a break. If
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah. I would definitely do the travel the world for a year.
Mhm.
Because you can always come back after the year if you
Mhm.
think about it. and start a business.
Yeah, and you can even plan
Yeah.
it while you're traveling, you know?
Yeah. And maybe you see something along the way that inspires you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or learn from other people as you're.
Yeah. All right. Our last one for life and imagination is, would you rather go back in time to meet each other sooner or fast forward to your happiest day in the future?
It's such a hard question.
It's a hard one.
Because, all right, I'm going to be corny as hell. I'm all about timing. I think timing is everything. I think everything happens for a reason when it does, even the bad things, even the good things. So, like, I'm very, like, I feel like messing anything up with time is wrong. You know what I mean? So, like,
Okay. Like the butterfly effect
yeah.
kind of thing. Okay.
So, I mean, I wish we could have met sooner, but I met him at a time in my life when I was ready to meet him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like before that I wasn't mature or at a place in my life where I could have taken our relationship seriously, you
Yeah.
know? Like, or I would have effed it up, or he would have, because he wasn't ready, because he was still like, doing bad things. Or so what were my options? Fuck.
Okay. So would you rather A, go back in time to meet each other sooner, or B, fast forward to your happiest day in the future?
I guess I would fast forward to not mess with anything. But then I'm
Okay.
also scared. I'm like, what is our happiest day? And did I just fast forward to the part where we're old and like my life is gone?
Yeah. I'm going to fuck with time. I always say this, that I wish I could have met Michael before the crime happened. So I would rather go back in time, even though we're 5 years apart. And when he was 20, I was only 15. I feel like we could have saved each other from a world of pain and hurt and what's the word? Where you destroy yourself, basically. Because I was at 15, I had a lot of traumatic things happen, and you know, I did not want to be here anymore. And I know when Michael was 20 and I was 15, that was when he decided to help his family out by, trying to get money and in desperate situations, which put him where he is today. So I would like to go back in time and meet him, because I already know, because we've had previous lifetimes together, that if I saw him when he was 20, I would have been already in love with him. And I knew I would have been drawn to him regardless. So I'm going to choose the opposite. I'm going to choose going back in time.
Yeah.
And that way we could have a life together and, not have to deal with this, if that makes sense.
Joseph
Because
and
I don't know. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say Joseph and I's age gap is a little bit different. I feel like, and he was so young when he committed his crime, and I don't think that like I had just lost my dad too. I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to save him or help him. I think, I don't know. Maybe I'm just factoring way too much of the things that I know about his life and my life into my head. I don't know.
Well, listen, I love what you said. I love the fact that you said, like, I met Joseph at the right time, because I feel like I also, when Mike and I talk about it, I felt like I met Mike at the it was fated. This is when we're supposed to meet. Like, I could have met him before all this, but I didn't. And I know that it was the right time. Timing is everything. But if I had, like I said, if I had a choice, I would
Yeah.
reverse it. Reverse that shit. But I do love what you said, because, I was not of this of the mindset. I mean, I'm not the same person I was when I was 15 as I am now, and maybe I will be when I get older. But I don't know. And maybe our relationship may not have worked. I don't know. I would like to think it would, but
Right? Like
you know.
I think about myself even before I became a mother. Like I thought I was grown then, but like my mind and the way that I treated people and thought about people was completely different. And like I don't think I would have been like mature enough to have a successful, you know what I mean? Like there were
Yeah.
things that needed to happen for me to grow up.
Oh, absolutely. Me too. Me too. And that's the only part of me that's like,
Yeah, yeah.
should I choose that one? You know?
Yeah. But hey,
Yeah. But I would like to save Michael from
yeah.
his own self. You know, that would be something that I would like to do. All right. Here we go. The last category, deep and real. All right. Would you rather go through a tough time together or have an easy time apart?
Tough time together for sure.
I agree.
I mean, our lives are tough times together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No relationship when you're with someone who's incarcerated is easy. Like we never pretend that it is.
Correct. And I would say also the tough stuff, even though it sucks when you're going through it, it makes you a better person. It gives you a lot more character and wisdom. It helps you grow and heal. It also helps you if you're going through it together as a couple. It helps you become stronger and unified. Tough times can break a couple, and tough times can also make a couple. And I think that's an important part of going through that tough time together.
So I asked ChatGPT this crazy thing the other day because, like, you know how ChatGPT you can be like blah blah blah, like and it knows about you, so you can be like, tell me the things I need to hear, that maybe I don't want to hear or something. You know what I mean? And one of the things it said to me was do the hard, boring, unsexy self work. So it was like journaling when you want to disassociate, moving and eating right, therapy, shadow work. And it says, I'm relating back to what we were talking about. This says, because comfort didn't grow you, pain did.
Correct.
And that's why I would rather be together through the hard times than be alone and good. Because
Yeah, I'm gonna
not
also
really alone and good.
Yeah, I'm gonna add another quote that I saw. I don't know who said it. It's an unknown author, but it said something about how you can't grow in you have to get out of your comfort zone in order to grow. So I think, the easy stuff doesn't make you grow. The easy stuff is the easy parts. The hard stuff is what really changes you and makes you a different person, a transformed person. That's a great quote. That's a great quote, Paige. That's a really great quote. All right. Our next one is, would you rather be your partner's peace or their motivation, and why?
I'm like, why can't I be both?
You can't, because this is would you rather. You gotta pick one, honeys.
His peace, because he needs to be self-motivated, and if I'm his only motivation, that's not good.
I'm gonna hammer down on that one too. I'll double down on that, because while I'd love to motivate him, at the end of the day, he's in a situation that he got himself in, so he's the one that has to get himself out of it. In essence, yes, I can be there to support him. Yes, I can be there to be that part of the peace for him, especially too, if you think about it, because they're in a place of chaos. I mean, prison is not easy. Prison is not this country club that everybody seems to think it is. It's a very animalistic realm, and it's chaotic, and there's a lot of people with a lot of traumas there. And so I would love to be more of his peace than the motivating factor. All right. The next question is, would you rather have everyone understand your situation or have just one person who truly gets it?
I'd rather have everyone understand, because that means we would have a world of empathy and a world of understanding and maybe a world of you know, more reform and actual, you know, recidivism,
Yeah. True reform, true,
rehabilitation.
correct, true rehabilitation, true trauma help. And
That's the goal.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I would do the same thing too. True for a true sense of what's the word? Oh my gosh.
Being.
Yeah, and I can't even think of the word. Hold on. Hold on. Redemption. A true sense of redemption. That's the word. Okay. All right, our last one. Here we go. Would you rather stay quiet when things are hard or open up even when it's uncomfortable?
Well, if the game is would you rather, obviously, anyone who knows me knows I would rather stay quiet and deal with it myself
Correct.
and never have anyone know about my struggles.
That's the cancer in
Yeah.
you. And the cancer in me, because that's my rising and my Venus. And I know when things get hard, I like to just crab up.
Right? Everyone thinks I'm like mad at them specifically and stuff. And I'm like, no, I actually am over here hating myself because I'm going through something.
Hey, Paige, are you mad at me? Are you mad at me?
Remember, like when we first, like you at first, like you would think that, but like you know me so well now when I'm going through
Yeah.
things that you just know that I'm just probably going.
It's not it's nothing personal. It's just you having to work through your own stuff, and you like to do that internally and deal with that. Yeah. Same thing.
I guess
Same thing
I
for me.
would rather be better at talking about it because I'm working on that.
I will say though, I feel like you've with at least with Joe and with me, I feel like, and maybe with other people too that you're close to, I feel like you have been doing that a little bit more. Like even if you say like I'm having a really tough day, or just letting people know like I'm going through some, you know, even if you just communicate that, I feel like you're doing something. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you for saying that because I feel like I have been trying to do that because before I would just not tell people, but I do now, and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on, and I've also gotten better at opening up about like different things that I'm going through in life that suck, or like people are being shitty to me that I would normally just like keep to myself and bottle up, but like I'm able to like talk to like you and Joseph, and that helps those situations so much more because it helps me feel less insane, you know?
yeah, I agree. And I do feel a sense of like there's some therapeutic relief, like getting it off your chest, you know, rather than trying to hold on to it and internalize it. There's a sense of freeing with that too.
Yeah.
By discussing it or just even venting to your spouse, to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend, or to your best friends or a friend group or something. Like, give me a second. Let me just rant for a second. Let me get it out.
It always feels better. There's something that's like, at least for me, and I don't know, maybe it's my Leo moon, my pride, where I'm like, I just don't like talking about my problems because I'm like, I don't want to put them on other people or make other people worry about them or like feel like they need to solve them. But I'm like, every time after I've talked about it, I've been like, oh my God, I'm so fucking gutted that I said that.
I'm the same way. I hate putting like burdens on people.
Yes.
But I also feel like when I talk about it, it opens me up to people giving me a different perspective or a different take on something that I didn't even think about. And then now my eyes are open and now I can look at things maybe a little differently too and handle things differently too.
True.
So. All right. Well, that was the last one, darling.
That's it, girl.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, you know what I wanted to do at this point in the pod? Remember we used to do way back in the day, like I'm talking like episode 11, 10, 12, 13, 14, where you pick a random emoji and people would have to comment.
Yes.
Can we do a throwback and do that for this episode 56, please?
I love that.
So pick an emoji. So guys, if you are here at this point with us, you need to comment this emoji at this point. Paige?
Let's do the cowboy with the cowboy hat.
Okay, so the emoji face with the cowboy hat.
Yeah,
So
he's like, yeehaw.
Yeehaw, guys. Get your honky tonk and your badonkadonks together and comment the cowboy emoji.
Yo.
All right, y'all. Well, be on the lookout for a meme of the week. Paige, did you have anything else?
Wait, we had a few questions. No?
How could I forget about Florida Fred?
It's
Oh
Sunday.
my God.
Yeah, honestly, I will tell him, by the way, but I have to tell him that you
I'm
did.
gonna get a nasty gram from
Yeah.
Florida Fred.
He might block you.
Fred, I'm your prison wife number 2. Please don't block me.
But we don't know that because we found out he has other ones, so who knows where we are. on his list.
What number ranking we
Yeah.
are in his harem.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here we go.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Florida Fred.
Ooh.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
Yeah, he heard us talking about him last week, so he got a little cocky there.
Anyway, he is the Florida Fred.
He is the one, the only Florida Fred. All right, so Paige, you want to get us started? This is Florida Fred time, means it's time for your questions and comments. We do also have one speaky pipe, so
yay.
I'm gonna let Paige get us started.
The first thing that we have is actually just a very nice comment that was left us by a listener. Her name is Stephanie. She said, just want to say thank you for helping me get through some very tough days. Best pod.
Oh, Steph.
Steph, thank you, ma'am. That literally,
Honeys.
thank you so much for saying things like that. It makes everything feel so much better when sometimes it feels like, dang.
Yeah. For real. And I do want to say it puts it in reality that, you aren't alone, we aren't alone, and that, we're here for each other.
And people actually care about us making this, which is so
Correct.
cool. And I never would have imagined, hello.
No, me neither. Not in a million years. All right. We have we got 2 questions from Indy. What is something you've had to give up or sacrifice because of your relationship?
I feel like I don't know if this is the right answer, but this is the first thing that came to my mind. I think the most important thing, or one of the biggest things that you're agreeing to sacrificing, is like that normal family dynamic.
Correct.
Like that's the first thing that came to my mind, at least with our situations and like our husbands being like indefinitely sentenced to a life behind bars. Like you can hope and pray and they can work towards getting out, but you have to inevitably be like, okay, that this is very possible their life forever, and I love him, and I'm also committing to a life out here that is not the same as every other person who gets to wake up with someone beside them and gets another half of a paycheck and gets emotional support 24/7. You know what I mean? Like has physical presence. It's like the lack of that, and that's a huge thing. That's really hard for some women, obviously. I mean, it's a huge thing that you have to go through and accept, and you have to think about it, and you can't ignore it. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you do, like I've met so many ladies who have put that kind of on the back burner, and then like they get like a year and a half into it, like something about that year and a half mark, where they're like, okay, I actually am not, I didn't realize that this was this, and dipped out, and it's like that's not
That it was this hard.
yeah. So it's like I think that's the first sacrifice that came to my head.
I agree. I was going to say the physical aspect of our relationship, I'm not talking just about sex. I'm talking about him being here, him, being able to comfort me physically when I'm having a bad day, or just having him here, or just
take
having
care
that.
of you. Like act of service. Like you're having a terrible day. Oh, he's going to come home and cook you and clean and do all that. You don't get that.
Say, hey, I'll go pick up dinner. What do you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the everyday stuff. I think that is the biggest, like the everyday little things that I took for granted for a very long time in my previous marriage. I think that's something that I completely miss.
Yeah.
And feel like I have to give up that that feeling of having that.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear what other ladies
Yeah.
think. Was the first thing that came to your mind when you heard that question?
Yeah. I would love to comment below, guys, please. All right. Do you want to go ahead and do the next question?
Yes. The other question we have is from the wonderful Miss Addie. She said, "What is the most powerful thing another prison wife has ever done for you?" I don't even know.
I'm gonna say that they connected me to Catherine Legg, who was able to showcase Michael and I's relationship very early on. And that gave us a chance to tell our story, and not just the prison story, but the love story behind our relationship. So I think that was something that was, big for us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, I've met so many women who have done so many like thoughtful gestures for me. I've met amazing women who are like lifelong friends, and I can't imagine not. I mean, honestly, I didn't want to be corny, Gigi, but like you're like the only. I mean, I have a lot of really solid friends that I have met, but like I feel like the way that you've like provided for me and like friendship wise is probably the most that a prison wife has ever done for me, you know?
I was just joking.
No, I mean
Disappointing.
that. I mean
my
that.
God.
Like I don't like I
Thank
like I
you.
think that like you know what I mean? And like just us creating our group together and like creating that community, you know?
You're gonna make me cry. So.
No crying. No crying.
Thank you, honeys. That's so sweet.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would also say, I mean, I said obviously somebody that meant a lot to me at the time.
No, yours is good.
But-
That's huge.
I know it was huge at the time, especially early on. And this was obviously way before. This was like 2016, 2017, before I even met Paige. But obviously, doing this, I will say, with Paige would be the next thing that would pop into my brain. Because like it's just fun. It's just cool to see how our friendship manifested from just running in circles together and seeing each other on social media to being not only partners in this project, but also to see our friendship grow because of this too. You know what I mean?
Yes, I love that. I feel like so many other wives probably can relate to that because I feel like a lot of them have like, when you meet another woman who like gets your struggle, it's like, especially in this world, it's like, damn.
Yeah. And and it's not even just a person that understands your struggle. It's also a person, like just a good person, like a good-hearted person, because you know there are people that get your struggle, but they're not necessarily like good friends, you know?
Yeah, or a good person.
Good people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you find those people, it's so important to cherish them. It really is.
Because there's a lot that, it's crazy. It's so fucking funny. Maybe not funny, but I look back at the beginning of this pod and I remember Gigi telling me about how there are a lot of prison wives that are not good and that are just bad people and aren't good people. And I remember being like, I honestly haven't really like met many or came into contact. Do you remember? And I'd be like, yeah, I just don't like have a story. And I'm like a year plus later now, I'm like, I've had such, and I'm like, it's crazy. And I'm just glad that like, you know, we've had those conversations for me to know that like, I'm not alone or like, it's not normal that there are people that like, you know, can show you one side and then completely out of nowhere
throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Or, you know, just gaslight you or, you know, say these horrible things about you or make up stories about
when you don't like when you've done nothing but like, you know,
deserve that.
Crazy. I've never had things like that happen to me since like high school. And like it was, but like, thank God that, like I said, you've talked to me and like, it's been like, unfortunately there are bad people in the world, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what little realm or pocket you're in. I mean, there's good and bad everywhere. So, yeah. And it's good to have people that know what you're going through, that understand those things, that are able to kind of guide you and say, well, this is what I did when this happened to me, or offer you advice or be there for you, because it's almost, especially when you consider somebody like really, you get really close with them and you consider them like your best friend. For me, it was so heartbreaking, and I'm still, I would say, like, I'm over it, but I'm not over it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, yeah,
There's like
it's almost like a really bad breakup,
there's like I like keep coming back to like I don't know what I did to, you know what I mean, like to like make someone ever act out or say things like that, you know, but the truth of it is that I didn't do anything, you probably didn't do anything. There are just people that like to self-destruct, and unless you know how to detach, you will be sucked in and self-destruct too. So
Yeah.
no, thank you.
You can't stoop to their level at all.
No, and there's no point to, because it's like, you know, karma is real. We know that.
Yeah. Very true. All right, our next question from Indy, second question. What's something about this life that no one warned you about, but you wish they did? Great question.
That is good. And I need to think of something good because I feel like I was warned about a lot.
That I will say that, because when you start this life, you're in that honeymoon phase where you're learning about your person and you're all excited, and it doesn't matter that they're not here because you're still learning about them. I would like somebody to say, yo, you're going to have a hard time with this.
Or that
It's not glamour and it's not fun and exciting. That it's not that I went in thinking that at all, but that you really are going to have some grieving to do, and it's going to be a process. And just know, I would love for somebody to say, look, it's going to be really hard. You're going to question yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to lose confidence at some point in your relationship. But just know that if you really truly want this, that you just keep going. Just keep going. You know?
I agree. I think I would probably do the same, just to be like, going back to what we talked about last week with dealing with grief and stuff. Like, I never factored in grief. I think I just factored in like general sadness.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't think about anger and all of the other feelings that come with grief. Like, you know, that full circle of grieving. It's a full circle, and it sometimes, you know, it doesn't end. And especially if they have an inevitable sentence, it's something that, you know, you have to be able to vocalize and talk about together and work through, because like it'll happen with them too. And I think I didn't factor those things in enough. I think I was also younger. I think I've just, you know, this whole journey has made me learn and grow up in so many ways.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would also add to that, you know, you have to find your own ways
To
of
detach.
coping. Yes,
Oh,
of
oops.
coping. Well, same thing too. Same thing too. That they both go. You have to learn your own ways of what helps you cope with the loss and the difficult situations and having to live this life. And you also have to learn to disassociate at times for your own mental well-being,
And not just
because
say it.
prison wife life cannot be all of your life. And that's coming from someone that really had to, like, sometimes prison wife life, you get so wrapped up to it, and it's so fun, it's so exciting, and yes, it's almost like, you know, you have a sisterhood of women here, and it's great to be all up in the tea and all up in the business, but it's also good for you to be you.
You have to.
And that's not necessarily all of your identity.
It's so easy to want to involve yourself in others, like, and to help them, and anything to distract yourself from your own processing and stuff. You know what I mean? I think it's just hard.
And I was going to give the example of, you know, when we take breaks from the pod. Sometimes some of those breaks are, I don't want to do prison wife shit this weekend.
Yeah.
I need a break.
That is literally why I started jewelry, y'all. I mean, other than loving it and everything, but everything I was fucking doing 24/7 outside of working and being a mom was prison, is prison. With our group, with my editing, with our nonprofit, with our podcasts, like I did not, any of my extra, nothing was paid, you know?
Yeah. And so it's good to keep, yes, being like, I will say, my identity is a lot of things. But prison wife life is one aspect of it, but it is not my entire identity.
Yeah.
And I think learning and somebody saying, hey, you can't be prison wife Gigi 24/7. You need to take time for you. You need to do stuff that for you. I think if somebody would have told me that, I mean, I'm sure people did. Maybe I just didn't listen at the time because I was so excited. But if somebody sat me down and gave me that hard truth the way it should have been given to me, I think that also would be something I would have added to that list for sure.
I agree, because I'm just so like I mean for that whole time I was like doing all of those things, and I would sit up here on this podcast and be like, make sure you're doing other things other than prison.
Yeah.
Like, hello girl, look in the mirror. Like, okay.
All right. I have one question in the inbox from Christina, and this is an advocacy question, so I'm going to kind of put it towards you, Paige, and I'll just chime in if I know anything. She said, for those of us that are new to using our voice and working to get prison reform bills written, what advice or guidance can you give so we can make sure we do this right?
Definitely. I'm not an expert by any means, but just hearing that question and what I know, working with your local, specifically local nonprofits that is going to be your number one, because they're going to be the ones that have the money and connections to
Yeah.
vocalize and make your voice louder. Then they can also work with legislators that then can help create and sponsor these bills and make them real. And it's a whole system within it, but you have to connect with these nonprofits. And I know that's easier said than done for a lot of people, because there are some states where they're just like, nonprofits are non-existent. So like for those people, I would say reach out to your legislators, write meaningful letters, like don't just attack them, like have that conversation, invite them to have a conversation, be like, I'd love to talk with you more, or like, you know what I mean? Like try really hard not to be like defensive or accusatory, and be like, I want to have this conversation and talk to you about what needs to be done, and try the human approach, because, I'm not going to lie, like that has worked a lot of times. Like at least even for me locally, when I've had to do that with sometimes, like it's worked, and I've talked to people, and that's how I've made like connections and met people.
Yeah. I would just echo that. And then I would also say, I always tell my students that you're more likely to get a better response out of people if you treat them with dignity and are polite.
Yes.
Rather than just coming in and going, if I went up to Representative Muscarella and said, you satanic POS, even though in my brain I would love to say that, I would say, I'm very proud of you for listening to the public and, taking down this bill. What can we do? Can we hopefully, that's something we can work towards in the future to make better bills, that are better for the Louisiana public.
They aren't going to listen if you go in there and you say what you want to say, unfortunately. You have to play their game a little bit. And honestly, just make it fun. Like, that's what I do. I'm like, oh, I can be 10 times faker than you, girl. And I blend in. I look like them with my blonde hair and my blue eyes. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Just get a little suit on and you'll be ready to go.
Take on me. Let me in, and maybe they'll let me in at the White House press conference. They'll let me in the room,
Yeah. All right.
I go in there. I go, what do you guys plan to do with our mass incarceration problem? And they walk me out. I'm arrested. I'm in fucking El Salvador.
All right. Well, our last thing that we have is a speaky pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Thank you for our person who wrote or sent us a speaky pipe. I love a good speaky pipe. All right, guys, here we go. This speaky pipe is from Sheena.
Hi, ladies. This is Sheena. I just want to jump on here and say the podcast was absolutely amazing. Long story short, me and my husband, we've been having a really hard time. I left him. We were separated for about a week or two. I thought it would be easier, and it wasn't. It was harder. And just hearing you guys talk about how hard it is, but you can't imagine your life without that person. You know, it was literally, I felt like this last podcast was directed towards me. Like, it hit home so much, and I needed that. So I just want to thank you guys so much. And we are back together. We are working on things, and things are going good. So, but yeah, he's my person. And no matter how hard it gets out here, I can't imagine my life without him. But I love you guys. I can't wait for next week's podcast. Bye.
Thank you, honeys.
No, I have chills. I'm so lame.
Yeah.
I have chills.
No, my legs have goosebumps.
That's exactly what
Sheena-
we said. We'd rather do
Yeah.
it together through the hard shit than be apart. And that's
And be with somebody that we don't really care about, you know.
Thank
I
you
think
for
that says a
always.
lot. And I'm sorry y'all went through a tough time, but you know, like we just said on this podcast, sometimes you need those tough times to bring you back together and make it work. You know, I mean, like Mike and I had one night where we broke up, and it was the worst night of my life, and it was the worst night of his life, and I don't ever want to feel that way again. Because I know not that I need Michael in my life, because I don't like to be a dependent person. I'm very independent, but I want him in my life. And I want, even though it fucking sucks, this fucking sucks. I'll say it like that. This fucking sucks.
Fun.
I don't want to do life or any other semblance of life with someone that I'm not in love with, that I'm just settling for. So I totally get that, Sheena, and I'm glad that you guys talked it out and you communicated and we were working on things. And
You did
hey,
hear
those
that
are-
message when
Yeah.
you needed it, girl.
yeah,
I'm all about
timing is
timing.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Girl, you know. Mm-hmm.
What do you do? This?
Mm-hmm.
My kids do that too.
Me and the
But
kids.
thank you, honey. Me and the kid.
Me and the
I learn
kid.
a lot from these kids. A lot.
Period.
This millennial learns a lot from this generation alpha.
I love
Or beta.
it.
Now they're
love
well, no.
it.
This my group's
Brody.
alpha.
Brody's alpha.
Yeah, my
He's at
group's
the
alpha.
end. He's literally at the end of alpha.
He's at the cusp, huh? Okay. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for all the questions, comments, and our speaky pipe from Sheena. Thank you so much. Be on the lookout for a meme of the week. We love you guys endlessly. Thank you for being
Mother's
here to
Day.
support us. Happy Mother's Day. Hope you have a great Mother's Day or had a great Mother's Day. And we're looking forward to summer.
Give me the
But
summer.
We'll be here next week, guys. We love you so
Give me the
much.
summer weather.
Besitos. Let me see if I can get my child. Hold on. Speaking of Mother's Day. Gustavo, come.
He said, if you don't leave me alone.
Gustavo, come. Tavito. Azulito. Tavito.
He said, girl.
Here he is. Your
Oh,
girlfriend wants to
I
see
love him
you.
so much.
Shelly's dog is his girlfriend.
Oh, I just look at him, like the way he doesn't ask for any attention, but you can't help but just stare at him.
He asked for all the attention.
No, he doesn't. He's not looking at the camera. He's like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
what?
You want to say hi to everybody? Okay.
Oh,
Boopy boop.
give him everything.
Love you.
Give him everything he wants.
You're my little tiny baby. I
Oh
birthed
my
him.
God.
I birthed him.
You did.
You're adopted. Sorry.
You did. You did.
All right. All right, y'all. We love you. Have a great week, a great weekend. Happy hump day. And we will see you back for episode 57 next week, y'all. Love you.
Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, friends.
This is for the ones who love through the distance, for the ones who stay solid while time keeps ticking, for the ones who hold it down but never lose themselves. This is for the prison wives. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. They don't see the late nights, letters on the table, fighting through the system, just trying to stay stable. They don't see the count days, they don't feel the time crawl. They just see the sentence, but they don't see the love at all. Yeah, I made the vow and I stand 10 toes. Still got my life, still got my goals. I hold it down cause I choose to stay. This love got walls, but it don't got chains. Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. I'm a prison wife, but I'm still my own. Made my own moves, still stand on my throne. They think I'm just sitting here wasting my days. Nah, baby, I've been building while he counting the days. I ride for my love, I ride for my king, but I ain't no fool, I handle my biz. I ain't weak, I ain't lost, I ain't throwing my worth. I hold it down cause I know what it's worth. Through the letters, through the calls, through the gates, through it all. Love don't break, love don't fade. I'm still here, I'm still brave. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.
Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change.
Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go, I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.
Lift my head.